go. Here we go.
I am using computer audio. Okay, that's fine. Right. I have muted everyone for the next several minutes that I'm going to be talking. If you have any difficulty hearing me or communicating with me, there is a chat box at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Looks like a little white circle. If you'll click on that, you can type a message to me privately or to the group using that. The second thing I want to talk about is that I have muted you. I'm the only one talking. And some of you have no video, which is fine, but your names are on there. Others have, they have their video on, but maybe no microphone. So if you cannot talk to me because you have no microphone, please chat with me if you have questions. Okay, we are moving from a physical on-site environment for contests to a virtual one. This changes some of the rules and some of the engagements that we are all having for this contest, and this is why I've called the call today. We are going to go over all the changes that have come up and all of the things that are going to make this experience as even a playing field as it would be even if you were in a room together. Some of you on the call are contestants. This information is mostly for you. Because you are competing in various contests, your challenges will be different. For example, we have some contestants using props for their call and some contestants just speaking. I will be going over all of the speaking rules according to TI for a virtual contest. And I will also be going over the constraints that District 52 has put on the contest in the interest of fairness. So if you have any questions about any of this, you will have time to ask those questions at the end. I do want to tell you that this is not the first in a series of calls. We have changed our minds about a lot of things so that we can fine-tune this virtual contest and make it the best experience we could possibly have. I will be looking periodically at the chat to see if there's any questions, any ongoing questions that I can answer for you. Please don't unmute yourself unless I ask you to, so that it stays fairly quiet for all involved and everybody can hear me clearly. In a virtual contest, we have some major changes for the contestants and for the contest coordinators. The functionaries in a virtual contest are similar to those in a on-site contest in that they still exist. Where they are sometimes changes. One change that we have instituted is that we have one chief judge that will manage the contests. The area directors and the contest masters are not choosing their own chief judge. The reason for that is it's tricky for the chief judge to gather ballots, count them, and produce the results for the winners. We have decided that it's easier for us to have a controlled environment where that's concerned, because for you as contestants, we want to make sure that your ballots, the ballots that are voted on, are done accurately and within a private environment. So our contest chief judge will have a separate Zoom call for the 2 ballot counters in the contest and themselves. The ballot counters will not be inside the contest at any time. They will be waiting in this private room until the ballots are collected from the judges and given to the chief judge. I will go over how that's done a little bit later in the call. The second new member of a virtual contest is someone I am calling the tech chair. Now, a tech chair is someone who is hosting the call and then also watching for anomalies that might happen. A speaker dropping inadvertently during their speech, a judge dropping, a timer dropping. Some of these things can't be helped because when you are in an environment that requires the internet, we have challenges like power outages, internet dropping, and things like that. It happens especially frequently when the weather changes. And if we have bad weather, it might happen more frequently. However, with a tech chair in place, they would be able to see if a significant person like a timer drops. And I have spoken to some of my advisors, and we have decided that the tech chair will be the backup card timer, and I'll go over that in a minute, so that the speakers do not lose connection with their timing, the timing of their speech. So I'm going to go over a couple of things that I've mentioned already that will help you understand where I'm coming from. In Zoom, you have the ability to view only one screen or several. As speakers, you will be asked to pin the person who is your card timer. In a contest that you attend physically, there is someone that holds up colored cards to tell you where you're at with time. And there is another timer who is just watching the time and writing down your completed speaking time. The speaking time doesn't change. When you start speaking, the time begins. When you stop speaking, the time ends. That timer will only be managing that with a stopwatch and their sheet. The second timer will be watching a stopwatch, and because we're virtual, you will get a signal that looks like this when you've hit 5 minutes. When that 5 minutes is up and the timer needs to put up the yellow card, they will do this. And when you've hit 7 minutes, they will do this. This card will remain on the screen until you stop talking. And then they'll put the cards down. The other timer won't be watching the cards. They'll be in different places. So they will only be stopping their stopwatch and writing down the time when they hear you stop talking. If something happens, if, for example, the timer's internet drops, the tech seeing this will then take over. The timer will have a time stopwatch going, because even though it is a significant portion of the contest to have the tally timer time, having a secondary stopwatch where the tech is holding up the red card and listening for you to stop, they will be able to stop their timer and calculate within seconds when you stop talking. They will be able to compare that time to the person who is turning in the tally, the timing tally, to the chief judge. You might ask, how is this all going to be done? How is the judge, the chief judge, who's in a different place than the timers, going to get this timing card? Timers, judges, and ballot counters will all need to be able to be equipped with a phone that can take pictures and text. That will be one of the criteria for us choosing judges and timers and ballot counters. The judges in the contest will be watching you visually. They will be pinning your view, their view of you on the screen. They won't see anyone else. They'll be watching you just like they do in a physical contest and passing judgment according to the ballot. When they finish their tally, they will determine who is first who is second, and who is third, they will take a picture of the bottom of their ballot and text that to the chief judge. The chief judge will gather all 5 or 6, actually 6 ballots, 5 judges and 1 tiebreaker, and they will take those and they will submit them to the 2 ballot counters inside the Zoom room that is separate from the contest room. When that's done, the chief judge will leave the contest that you are in. Your contest master will probably call on each one of you to do an interview. And then during that time, the chief judge and 2 ballot counters will count ballots together on a Zoom call. The way that works is 1 ballot counter will be calling off from these ballots that they've received from the chief judge, first, second, and third, the same way they would be calling them off if they were in person. They will say, Steve, Judge Steve, first place, Alethea, 3 points. Second place, Sarah, 2 points. Third place, Joe, 1 point. The ballot counter tally person will write those points down, and then they will switch roles, and the ballot counter who was calling will now tally, and the ballot counter who was tallying will now count. Now they've got 2 sheets. Each one of them has a tally sheet in front of them. They will submit those sheets to the chief judge, who will verify that the tallies that they came up with are identical. If they're not, they will repeat the count. If they are identical, he will communicate to the 2 ballot counters, verifying that they got the same results, that all 3 of them agree. He will fill out a results form with third, second, and first place in that order, because that's how the result form is read. He will submit that to the contest master privately in a text, and that contest master will now be able to announce the winner. So the contest master would then tell the contest participants, we have the ballots and we will announce the winners. The contest master will announce the 3rd place winner first, the 2nd place winner second, and the 1st place winner third. Same as they would in a in-person one. The difference is your 1st place winner will not be able to receive their certificate or their trophy in person. They will get that, the trophies will be given to them at a later date in person, and the certificates can be mailed to them. So this is how that particular segment works. I'm going to unmute everybody. I want to ask if there are any questions with that process.
There's like 10 in there. Where did the other 9
go? Okay. Does anybody have a question for me? Okay. Let's move on then.
11.
Okay. The other roles, the judges, our judges need to have smartphones because they have to be able to send their ballot to the chief judge. Chief judge is in charge of keeping all of the ballots for every contest so that all of that information can be validated, basically. One of the things that the tech chair will do, should there be a contest break, let's say, for example, you're speaking and suddenly your audio drops or your video drops and we can no longer see you. The tech chair will hold this up and you will see that on the screen. When you see that, you will stop talking and then the tech chair will tell you why they stopped you, okay? When the contest stops, the contestant who is speaking will be given an opportunity to check in with the tech chair to find out what happened. If they can resolve it within a reasonable time, we will continue with that contest. According to TI's new rules for virtual contests, they tell us that the contestant will pick up where they left off. That will require the tech chair to determine where we stopped hearing the speaker or where we stopped seeing them, and determine where they need to start. So that we'll give the speaker a few minutes to get their bearings, and then they will have to begin their talk again. Once the contest begins again, the timing will begin again and everything will move forward. Contestants who have a break in their talk will get a break on their timing. We will add several seconds to the timing so that they don't automatically go overtime, because we know that that can be a challenge. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is the speaker and how you appear on video. We have TI rules and we have district rules. The first one let's go over is the TI rules. TI states, Toastmasters International states, that every speaker must be in a room that is well lit and their webcam can see them from the waist up, basically. The picture that they show, they don't say this in the rules, but they show a speaker's view from the waist to the top of their head. This is a challenge for any speaker who has props. I recognize that because I've seen some of the contests where the props are on the floor. You as a speaker will have to make sure that you stay in the view of the camera while you're talking. So your props need to be somewhere fairly close by, maybe even just outside of you, but make sure you don't have to bend over or walk away from your webcam to get your props. This is significant because your speech is being viewed virtually on a webcam. They have to be able to see you continuously to judge you appropriately. So you're going to have to practice with your webcam to see how that works and figure out where to put your props. This is important, especially for some of these contests where the props are a significant part of the speech. This does affect some of you greatly, and I want you to know that I am going to be sending out some training materials to all of you that will outline how you can practice via an online video program where you can test your own webcam, you can test your own audio, and make sure everything's working. The other thing that I'm going to do, because I have some computer knowledge, that's what I do for a living, I am going to send out a document that tells all of you, speakers, functionaries, area directors, division directors, everyone, how to make sure your computer is ready to transmit the best possible audio and video transmission. There are things that happen in a computer that cause video and audio not to work properly. And I'm going to send that out so that you can prepare your computer for this contest. The other thing I want to do is offer my help, and Marco has also offered his help to help us with that process. So if you are not technically savvy and the information that I send you doesn't make sense, or you can't complete it, or you run into a problem where you realize that your computer has something on it that is causing this problem, either malware or something, you will be able to contact either Marco or myself to get that computer cleaned before the contest. Given that we have enough time and that you can connect with me remotely or Marco remotely to take care of that for you, okay? I know that there are only a few things that stop a good video transmission and a good audio transmission, and they're easy to fix except for one of them, and that is if your computer is so full and so it has no virtual space left on it, you will not have a good video or audio transmission. The other thing Can we, no. Dan, you have to decide whether your video is going to be full body or half. You can't move it, so you can't zoom in or out, but you could start full body and stay there for the whole contest. That was a good question, Dan, because I've seen your speech and I know that your full body is important. Yes, you can start your video where your entire body is showing, but you cannot change it midstream. So you must decide. That brings up that one of our rules, and that is your video cannot move. Once it is established, it has to stay there in that position. So whichever way you decide to do it, it must stay in one position. The next thing the district has determined is that, of course, being that you are on video, I cannot tell what you are doing aside from speaking to me via video. So we have determined that you will sign a document that says you are certifying you will not be reading any notes or cheat cards during your talk. There is a way, several ways where you can actually have your speech available to you so you can do that. This is something you're going to say you're not going to do. I can't really prevent you from doing that because I'm not in the room with you. But you will sign a document saying that's not something you will do. If a judge determines that you are consistently looking down or looking over at another screen, that judge will mark you down on the presentation and content portion of the ballot, indicating that that person appears to be reading their speech. It will not do you well to do that, so I expect that you will all comply with this in the same way you would if you were in person. If a speaker showed up at a physical location to deliver a speech and had notes in their hands, the judges would mark them down automatically for not being prepared and not delivering a well-formatted speech. It's in the ballot. So that's where the judges would mark you down in a virtual contest. So that's one of the other things that we have decided as is going to be a rule. Being a part of this call is part of your contest briefing. I am going to make sure that every contestant in every contest is briefed on Zoom before their contest begins. All of our contests will start at a given hour, but the speakers and the functionaries will check in 15 minutes before the contest scheduled time. In that 15 minutes, the tech chair and anybody else that's on the call will be verifying audio and video for every contestant and every functionary. We will be testing things like, can we hear you? Can we see you? Are you on the camera in the right position? We'll be telling you where you need to be moving if you have to move, if you're not far enough away or you're not well lit with lighting. If you have a very busy house, you know, lots of stuff, and your background is got bookshelves or whatever, we don't care about that. You do not have to provide a plain background for your speech. It is my understanding that most of us humans disregard what's behind the speaker most of the time, because most of the time, even in physical environments, we're in community rooms that are stacked with things, or they have chalkboards with writing on them. We have a tendency to focus on the speaker and disregard what's behind them. So I would not worry about that so much as I would be concerned about the sound that you are transmitting and the video that you are transmitting. Okay, can we pan the video? Okay, you asked that already. All right, okay. Does anybody have a question for me? Hang on, let me unmute. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, everything has been clear.
Awesome.
We can use our own timer if we choose.
Yes, if you have a phone that has a Toastmaster timer on it, that is not considered speech notes, and you can have that timer going for yourself. That is not against the rules.
That's good.
Okay.
Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Circe, when are we going to know our time slots?
Ah, that's next. Let me go over
Yeah,
that now.
timer.
Oh, good.
Okay. In the contest, you have a contest master, you have a chief judge, you have judges, you have, let's see, chief judge, you have a tie-breaking judge, and then outside the contest, you have ballot counters. In a physical contest, your contest master would have a contest briefing with the contestants. We're having our briefing prior to the contest to make sure everybody knows how to use Zoom. But inside the contest, after I have that 15 minutes to check everybody's audio and video. But at the hour when the contest begins, the contest master will be taking the names of every contestant who has registered for that contest and putting their names in a hat. That contest master, in front of everyone, will be drawing those names out of the hat and showing them on the screen. And that is how the speaking order is determined. So you as a contestant will be able to watch that process and hear your speaking order. Once that's determined, the contest master will repeat the order of the speakers for the audience. The judges will write it down. The contest master will have it written down, and the chief judge will be a witness to that, as well as the tech chair. Your position in the contest, whether you are present for the draw or not, is established at that point. If you are a contestant and you cannot get connected, you cannot get onto the contest, Toastmasters International has already determined that that actually is on you. We can help, but I can't make that happen for you. I will not be able to determine whether you have bowed out or you have technical difficulties. It would be the same as if you tried to go to a contest physically and got delayed because either you got sick or your car, stalled and you couldn't make it. If something happens to you as a contestant and you do not arrive when the contest is gavelled in, and I'm going to go over that process in just a moment, you are now ineligible from competing. That's very important for all of you to understand. It's the only way we can determine who's eligible and who's not at the contest time. But before that, the contest master already would have drawn all the names. So if we have 4 contestants and 3 of them are present, 4 names will be drawn. If the 4th person who is not present, their name is drawn second, they will not compete if they're not present when the contest is gavelled in, not when their position comes up. So, for example, the way this works is once all the technical checks are done, the tech chair has validated that every contestant has video, every timer has video, and every judge can hear the contestants and see them, we will start the contest. The contest master will be given the go-ahead from the chief judge that the contest can begin. The contest master has a very short script. They will tell the audience, we are now beginning the humorous contest for area F62, and I will begin by announcing the contestant order. So they'll repeat the contestant order. So if there's any problem with that, somebody needs to speak up. This is the contestant order. When the contest master says, we will now begin the contest, they are actually gaveling in the contest. Any contestant not online, not participating, is now not going to compete. Is that completely clear? Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay.
CirceD,
Yes.
I have a question. Can we have a videographer to help us or not at all?
Okay. You can can have a person who is monitoring your webcam, but they can't touch it.
Correct. So
Oh.
like this person would be just videotaping me instead of like
Oh, no, you
having
can't.
my laptop on the
No.
table.
No, there is no
Okay.
videotaping or photographing during a contest. So the contest will not be recorded and they will not be videotaped. Okay?
So it has to be from our camera, computer camera on the table or something
Correct.
that cannot be touched by somebody else.
Correct. Yes, we can't
Okay,
have it
great.
move. If it's moved, that will cause us to wonder why and what's going on, and you may be eliminated from the contest for doing something
Yeah,
that's
they want the same
outside
format.
the norm. Okay?
I want the same format for everybody.
Great, thank you.
I have a question along that line.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, so if there's an issue with sound, I know we'll get a notice, say we can't hear you. In that case, can you touch your
Oh,
recording
in
device?
that case, we're on break and we'll be trying to figure out why. And yes, we'd have to
Okay.
adjust.
Okay.
Okay. A question came up. Can we hear the other participants on the Zoom? Every participant will be muted except the speaker. And only the tech chair will be able to chime in. The chief judge will be able to chime in should something happen. But most of the communication will be done via text so that very few people are talking during the contest. We don't want any judges' microphones unmuted. We don't want anybody in the audience unmuted. We only want the speaker unmuted because they are talking. We want it quiet. So the tech chair will mute everybody except the speaker. And probably, if I'm not misunderstanding the way Zoom works, I would assign the speaker as a host so that they come up clear. They would not be unmuted by anybody. Then I would disconnect them as a host. And this is the tricky part for me. I have to learn how this works. I may just mute or unmute people as a tech person, mute or unmute them myself so that they can begin or end. I would be muted. I would not be talking. That's why I have things like these to put up instead of shouting them out. Because if you understand how it is for you as speakers, if somebody were to shout something out to you while you're talking, that would be very unnerving. And I want to make sure that that's not unnerving. Okay, now, correct. You will not be able to hear laughter. You will not be able to hear response from the audience. Why is that? Because your audience is in various locations and we won't know if they've got a dog or a spouse that comes in to talk to them or a kid that comes in and starts talking to them. We won't know that. And the only way to make this okay for our environment is to silence everyone, okay? If I unmuted my audience members, even though you'd hear laughter, we'd also hear pots and pans, doors, telephones, all kinds of interruptions, things we wouldn't have in a physical environment. So we are not doing that. Somebody said, for the humorous speeches, can they hold up LOL signs for feedback? Yeah, I suppose you could. You'd have to turn your video on and do that. Yes, that is a possibility, but no audio. Okay. Let's see. What else? Okay. Let's see if there's something else next. Once the judges have their ballots, they will take pictures. I don't know if I said this already. I've done this so many times. They'll take pictures of the bottom of the ballot, send it to the chief judge. Chief judge will meet the 2 ballot counters in a private room, count the ballots with them, return the results to the contest master, who will stop their interviews or finish up with their interviews and announce the winner. Keeping the contest rules intact means that the contest winner needs to be announced before the contest is over. We will have both humorous and international in the same Zoom call. So we will, in F62, which is the only contest going right now, it will happen on March 21st, on Saturday. They have decided they want to be one of the first contests going because they want to see how this all works. They have 2 contestants for humor and 2 contestants for international. They have invited everybody to participate. So if you want to see how this is done, that's the contest to join. We will make an announcement on the District 52 Facebook page, so you can join that contest. It will be a different Zoom call than this one, so it will have a different meeting ID, and that will be announced. If anyone in the audience does not understand how to mute themselves or turn off their sound, the tech chair will turn off sound as appropriate, okay?
Circe,
Yeah,
can you review, please, how to pin?
yes, thank you for reminding me. Thank you very much. 2 things need to happen, and I will do some training videos, Zoom training videos that will show you exactly how to get your video as on the screen and how to get the timer's video in front of you so you can see these cards that go up, okay? I need to, let's see, let me look here. Okay, I am going to verify before we move forward whether or not a red-green colorblind person can still see that this says red, okay? I have somebody who notified me that that is a problem, so we are adjusting as we go with the timing cards. So I will verify that. So here's what I know before I get to the pinning. Here's what I know. All of the rules of engagement, all of the technical details, and all of the details about the flow of a contest will be sent and posted so that everybody has access to it and they know exactly how it's going to work. I will run through a contest with a few people so that we can test everything that we've done. And like I said, F62 is going to be the first contest on Saturday, so we'll have a live opportunity to do that. Okay, when you're looking at Zoom right now, you're either looking at it in what's called gallery view, where you see everybody that's on the call, or you're looking at it in speaker view, which means you only see me because I'm the speaker. If you look at speaker view and you see yourself, you see me talking, you should see everybody else in a tile that is across the top. I believe because I'm the host, I'm the number 1 tile. If you see other people, you might see, like mine has 6, I can scroll through to see other people. Okay, who else is on the call? I am going to make the timer a co-host because I think that puts them in position 2, and I'm going to test that later today. Once I have both the timer's video and the speaker's video be the only video up, I will show them how to pin the timer's video, and I'm going to tell you how that works now. Inside the gallery view, not the speaker view, you highlight a tile that you want to see as the primary video that you will look at. I'm going to use Cristobal as an example. I'm going to click on the 3 dots to the right of his tile, and I am going to click on the word pin video. Now Cristobal is the only person I see on the screen. I don't see anybody else. This is how you as a speaker will pin the timer, so that when the timer is pinned, you will see their video and the timing cards as they put them up. You won't want to watch yourself because you won't see the timing cards. You could very easily go overtime. If you have a site challenge that I don't know about, I need to know about that as soon as possible. So as I hold this up, can you read the word green? Can you read the word yellow? Can you read the word red? These are things I need to know before we move forward, because if these cards need to be changed, I need to change them as soon as possible, okay? Because Saturday is coming. Next, if you have any questions that I did not cover, and you don't have any technical advice by Wednesday of this next week, please contact me. I'm going to put my email address inside the chat. I have 2 of them. I'm going to put, oh, actually I have 3. I'm going to put my main one, my Google one, and my program quality director one. All 3 of those will get to me, okay? The one that's in the middle, my Gmail one, if you have something, a Google Doc, a Google Drive, something to share, use that address to share it with me so that I can see it, because otherwise I have to email you back and tell you to send it to that address. Neither one of the other ones will allow sharing through Google because they want it to be a Gmail address. So that's just something I found out over the last couple of months. If you have any questions about this and how we've done this, please check in with me, email me, ask. I do not have this fine-tuned completely yet. It's coming over time. This is the 5th call that I've been on, and we have learned at every call something new. The humorous cards showing an LOL for laughter, it works, except for the fact that the speaker is going to be looking at the timing cards in the middle. They'll only see a certain number of audience members across the top, and they won't have the ability to tile at all. So Dan, to your question, you and any other humorous contestant are going to have to assume people are laughing so that you get that response anyway. You cannot I cannot imagine how that's going to be for everyone. I do know that it is going to be a challenge, but you have to get it in your head that people are laughing. Put your pregnant pause in there and move on for your speech. Make sure that you're delivering it as if the whole world is laughing, okay? Do we know when the rescheduled dates will be announced? Not yet. Each of the area directors, just like in the physical contest, will be contacting their functionaries, gathering those people together, and putting a list together and sending it to me and letting me know when they're ready. I do know that I have room on March 21st to conduct 2 more contests at least. I only have 1 contest scheduled. It is my desire to get all 24 area contests that want to participate in this done at least by the 1st week in April, because after that we have division contests and I have 6 of those to do. So we have to do probably about 2 a day on the weekends in April. We will be, your area directors, division directors will be notifying you when your contest is tentatively scheduled. You will need to make yourself available for that just as much as you had to make yourself available for a physical contest. If you have challenges with that, we have them. You want to make sure that the people who are scheduling things for you know about those challenges before they schedule, okay? Okay,
Question.
yes.
I'm an
Elise?
area director. How do I reserve? Do I go through my division director to book the date?
No, you will talk to me directly. If you want to get your division director in on the loop, so make sure that they're
Well,
CC'd on any
on.
communication.
My idea is I thought we were going to do it on the 21st, area 30, and I don't know which other ones you're going to have. Marcia's online here. She's on the chat here with us.
Okay. If you think you can put together your judges, your contest master, and you don't need a chief judge, your ballot counters and your timers, and you can get them all on board, send me your request to be added to any date, and I will see to it that you get an opportunity to do that, and I will validate that you're in, okay, and what time that is. Alethea reminded me, yes, judges will have to sign the bottom of their ballot. This is part of our judges briefing, and we'll have that for a virtual judge as well. They will be told about the things that we've talked about here today, that if a speaker goes out of the webcam view, where they need to mark that speaker down. If a contestant moves their camera, where to mark them down, these kinds of things. But yes, they will all still need to sign the bottom of their ballot, because it's not official unless they do, which is why I'm having people photograph their ballot and send it to the chief judge, and not just send a text first, second, and third, okay? Okay, let me unmute everybody and I will take questions. Okay, anybody have questions?
Not right now.
No, not right now. It's pretty clear, everything.
CirceD, the timing for the other area contest has not been set yet. Is that correct?
You mean the scheduled dates?
Yes.
Yes, nobody has stepped forward and said that they want to be on the 21st. The F-62 contest is beginning at 8 a.m. The tech review is at 7:45, with the contest slated to begin by 8:15. So that's our schedule right now. I expect that contest to be completed by around 9:30. So somewhere within the next hour, a second contest can begin. Keeping in mind that there will be a tech review 15 minutes before, and a mini briefing and speaker choice, speaker order choice done at the hour, and then the contest beginning within 15 minutes.
Remember, your mics are open, so we hear everything.
Okay. Anybody else? Is everything clear as mud?
So I'm just to clarify what Lance said, I'm not sure what area I'm in, but when the contest is set, the contestants will be given a week notice, maybe ample time. Do we know how long?
You are F-63.
Thank you.
And Jackie Sanders, who is on this call, is our area director and running the contest.
And she will let you know as soon as she has all of the other components ready. Gotcha. She'll let you know that you can count on that date and time, because she will have told me, and I will put it in.
I'm sorry, I got that wrong. That was wine and dine. Krista, we are C32, and Landon Proctor is our area director. I'm sorry,
that's okay.
Pulled out the wrong one.
Okay. All right. Are we eligible to compete on Saturday? Paul, who are you? Paul, unmute yourself, please, or I'll unmute you. Paul?
I don't know what district I'm in. I guess I maybe misunderstood what that meant.
What club are you in?
Warner Brothers?
Okay, I will look up Warner Brothers. I think they're in B or C. They might be in A. I'll look it up. What's your last name, Paul?
Green?
Paul Green. I will look it up and let you know that.
This is F60, CirceD.
Yes.
It's one of my clubs, yeah.
Warner Brothers is F60. Thank you, Rosanna. Thank you very much.
Is F60 the one on Saturday?
No, that is F62.
Well, no, F60 was on Saturday too, sorry. Morning session was F60 and 61. Afternoon session was 62 and 63.
Right, but all of that has changed. The only contest I have scheduled right now for this Saturday is F62.
Yeah, sorry, I thought the past.
That's okay. Okay.
Oh,
A point of clarification, we are all in District 52. Then there are divisions A, B, C, D, E, F, and then under that areas.
Yeah, I'll send out on the Facebook group, the district52.org, the alignment showing every club and the area that you're in and the division that you're in. So you'll have that information, okay? Plus the area directors that are in charge of that. So you have that information, because I cannot expect every member of every club to have gotten that information. I want to make sure that it's out there for you, and I will take care of that today. So the Facebook page, District 52 Toastmasters on Facebook, we have a page, and that's where I will post that for everyone so that you can see it. I'll keep the information up as an image so you could download it and keep it for your information. Okay. Anybody else?
Circe, as past district director, I really want to acknowledge you and Agnes and the district leadership for putting this together. It's an immense job. You're doing an extraordinary job, and I think we are all going to learn a great deal about leadership from this experience. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for saying so. It's my desire, and I say this on every call, it is my desire that you who are contesting for humorous or international, that you have this opportunity to compete, that you have the same opportunity to compete that you would if we were holding physical contests. We're trying to make this as fair and as close to the physical environment as we possibly can within a virtual one. I know that means there's challenges for everybody, but remember, you have me and Marco, and I think Lawrence Caseta has also volunteered to help you with this technical challenge. So don't hesitate to reach out. That document will be mailed to everyone. It will be a document that is sent to the membership so that anybody who wants to either participate as an audience member, participate as a functionary, or participate as a contestant will have the same information for the technical side of this virtual contest. That way, we will have a whole bunch of people who can volunteer to be judges, volunteer to be functionaries, and also join in and watch the contest. At this time, we have 2 Zoom accounts. I actually, if I have the support structure, I can run 2 contests simultaneously in different Zoom accounts. The reason that's a little bit of a technical challenge is I need a tech chair on each Zoom call. So that's one of the things that I have to watch for. Secondly, I have to have judges that are technically savvy and ballot counters, and I need to have a chief judge in each room as well. Right now, I have 2 chief judges that have committed to me both weekends. So we do have people who can do that function. I am keeping the chief judge the same in every contest because that role will determine that the ballot counting and the ballot results are done correctly. I cannot let that fail because that would fail you as contestants And I don't want that. I just don't want that. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, this is Marcia. I have a question. Can we get timers also?
You mean as area directors, can you choose the timers?
No, can the district provide timers?
I will ask.
Yes.
Any timer that participates in one contest, I'll ask them if they are available for any others. Yes.
Okay, because that will help also.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, this is being recorded. I will produce recordings for all of the calls that we've had. I am hesitant to produce recordings that have had information that has been changed. So I'm going to be very careful about what I produce, but calls like this one and the one that happened at 9 o'clock are pretty much covering the process that we have decided on to date. Keep in mind the rules and the functions and the flow of every contest will be sent to everyone when it's finalized. And after the F62 contest, there may be amendments to that, but for the most part, the documentation and the information will already be finalized, and we will have those processes in place. If you know anyone who is interested in participating as a functionary, please let the area directors know, because that's the hardest part. It's harder sometimes when we do it physically than it actually is virtually. So you might find people coming in and helping outside of our area, outside of our district, to help, because we're all having to learn. I had a request from District 2 to act as a judge and participate in the District 2 contest. So if somebody wants practice, they may want to participate in that. And that's something that is very doable, great for practice. They will have a pre-call as well to go over how that's going to be done. I am going to participate in their pre-call because I want to find out what they've decided to do for each of these things and possibly suggest some of the things we've decided that has made our job a little bit easier and run more smoothly. The timers will not be emailed, the timing sheets, because it will be harder for them to produce it on red, green, and yellow. I am probably going to mail those to the timers or take them to them physically, because as you see, it's on colored paper. If I email it, all they'll have is the word red. If a timer says, oh, I've got the 3 colors and they can print them, I could email them the cards. So yes. Okay. Anybody else?
Circe,
Yes.
just as a feedback, your voice and how you come through on the video is absolutely perfect. So you can talk quietly and it's still coming through loud and clear.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I've been trying to keep my voice paced so people are getting it no matter what. So thank you for that feedback. Okay. If there's no more questions, or if you have questions you don't want to ask here, email me and I will call this meeting to a close. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. Like I said, I am open, available for questions, technical questions. Just email me, okay? Thank you. Bye.